What you say?
I told you that it's time to start the show.
That you only meant well.
Yeah, the show's gonna do
Of
well.
course you did. What you say?
I said let's go.
That it's all for the best.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be like the best
Of course it
podcast.
is. What you say?
God, do I have to keep repeating myself?
Just what we need. You decided this.
Hold up, I
What
thought we
you
both
say?
decided to do this.
What did she say?
I said let's start the show.
Hey everyone, welcome to Whatcha Say, an OC podcast. My name is Lise Daly.
And I am Scott Daly.
And together,
We're the Dailies. This is the podcast where each and every week, usually,
Just
my
about.
wife, Elise, and I go through the hit 2000s teen drama, The OC, episode by episode. This week on the show, we are talking about Season 4, Episode 7, The Chrismukk-huh?
And Scott, I think we need to talk about the fact that we said each and every week. And Scott, I think this is the part where we say, oops, it has not been each and every week. And why is that, Scott?
We got some splaining to do generally.
You got some splaining to do. Isn't that what Ricky Ricardo used to say to
Yes.
Lucy?
Yeah, but you put a lot of shoulder into that. A lot of shoulder.
Yeah, I'm Elise. I'm not Ricky.
So here's the deal. We sat down 2 weeks ago to record this episode, and we had some technical issues at first. We got the technical issues fixed, and then we had an issue of
Motivation?
I don't like this show anymore. Not Whatcha Say, The OC. And the episode we're going to be talking about today kind of broke us in a way that we were just like, I don't
And
like.
here's the thing, Scott. Remember when Elise was like, you know what, season 4, we could have stopped the show after season 3 because season 4 is just like
We
the one
should've.
that no one talks about.
It's not good.
And we liked Taylor for a little bit, and she's okay.
But she's not
It's
here's the deal is I was thinking about what the show would be from now on and what the show is becoming, which is just you and me whining about how bad the show is for 45 minutes. And that's not fun. I don't like doing that. It doesn't make me happy as a person.
Isn't it good to complain about something though? Sometimes just to
Well,
release.
yeah, I mean, you got your thorns, but it's just I'm really not enjoying the show, and I particularly did not enjoy this episode, and we're going to talk about this episode. But that's what happened.
So basically, in season 4 of the OC, if it were a rose, it would have all of the thorns, and the flower has died.
at the very end of Beauty and the Beast,
I knew it. I knew exactly where you were going.
it's that's the rose that is the OC right now.
Can we play the song that Olivia Rodrigo sang in High School Musical called "The Rose" because she's going to be the Rose in Beauty and the Beast?
No, we cannot do that. We are not allowed to do that. We will be copyright flagged all to hell. Disney will sue you individually.
People should listen to it then.
Yeah, I mean, the thing, so 2 weeks ago, we were like, okay, we'll skip the week, and then next week we'll do 2 episodes. And
We watched the episode.
So we technically have watched episode 8, but it was just more bad. And again, sitting down, it was like...
It was when Elise forgot who this guy was, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh man, Scott, you're not going to be happy.
Yeah,
You're going to
well,
be
I mean-
like, oh man.
We'll get into that eventually next week, but...
Next week?
Yeah,
Or this week?
next week.
Talk to me, Scott. What are we doing for this? How are we breaking down the rest of this?
So here's our
this
plan.
show?
Here's our plan. We're gonna finish this week talking about episode 7, which is the Chrismukk-huh episode. I feel like the Chrismukk-huh episodes have been the highlight of the show. Some of the most fun things to do. This one's awful, and we're gonna talk about exactly why. Ironically, I did look at the IMDb star ratings from users, and this is the second highest rated episode of the season. Only beaten by the season finale. So,
Which tells you something, doesn't it?
it tells me IMDb users that vote on things don't know what they're talking about. But, so we're going to do that. And then next week, between this week and next week, you and I are going to finish watching the OC. We're going to finish
As soon as we stop recording, we're going to go watch the OC today.
the remaining 8 episodes, and we're just going to do one final episode. Because here's the thing. I wanted to quit doing the show. Because I didn't want to do it anymore.
Because you just don't love me
What?
anymore.
No, it has nothing to do with you. I would love
don't know.
to.
I
I would
think it
talk
is.
to you for the rest of my life about anything and everything, but the
But the
motivation,
OC.
the motivation to get in here and talk about this show that neither of us like, It's just not fun. I don't think it's fun to record.
I did like
complaining. I don't think it's fun to listen to people complain the whole time. I just don't think it's fun. And I just didn't want to do it anymore. So we were almost going to quit, but I have this thing where I can't not finish something. I can't do it. I can't have this project 20 feet from the finish line and then say, nope. So instead, we just change the rules and then we can finish it. So we're going to talk about the Chrismukk-huh episode this week. Next week, we're going to talk about the next 9 episodes, all in one big special. And then guess what? We're going to be fucking done with the OC. I'm so tired of this season of the show. I miss season 1 and season 2 OC so much. So much.
And then we're going to do our parenting with Pixar.
Yeah, that's coming. It's still coming, though, because we want to give our son a little time to grow. We want to give us a little time to grow as parents before we start talking about parenting on a podcast.
Yeah,
so we kind of decided to wait until his 6-month birthday for that show, which will be in September. So in between now and September...
how do people hear about me between now and September? Or is this your way to silence me?
Yeah, this is how I'm silencing it. Well, I thought what we would do in that intervening time is kind of go back to our roots a little bit and do some vow to views. We're moving on to parenting. Before we do that, we're going to talk about marriage and the films we make each other watch one last time. So maybe
because we don't watch any TV after.
No, because we've given up on TV. I don't know. I figure it might not be every week. It might be a little more sporadically than that. But that's what we're going to do. That's the plan. So if folks are like really disappointed that we don't talk about episode 11 of the OC individually or whatever, I'm sorry. It's here. Let me preface my conversation. I think it's stupid. I think everything they're doing is stupid. And I think this new character that comes in episode 8 that we'll talk about more next week, that's Ryan Atwood's father, spoilers, is the dumbest fucking idea the show's ever had. And he's Hercules. He's Ryan Atwood's dad. Hooray. That's the OC. They're scraping the bottom of the barrel of iStory ideas at this point.
And maybe we'll do a couple just Rosies and Thornies so people can be updated and like us. We'll just drop some Rosies and Thornies on your feed.
Just drop some feedy Rosies and Thornies.
Yeah, we're going to fertilize those roses.
So that's our plan for the next few months at least. We hope you guys will come along on the ride with us. And sorry for an unexpected break. We didn't expect it either. And frankly, I was so bummed about it that I didn't even tweet about it or message. I didn't tell anyone. I was just so bummed that I didn't want to do the show anymore. And I didn't want to talk about it. So this is the first time I've talked about it.
How does it make you feel?
It makes me feel sad. And in fact, to get into our Roses and Thornies of the week, this is my Thorny. This is it. I had a grand vision for how fun the show was going to be. And for 3 seasons, I had a great time, babe. We're here at the end. And this is a bad show. And it's my Thorn of the week. This bad show.
Yeah.
What's your Thorn?
That's my Thorn too.
Oh, well, you stole. You stole from me.
Well, you stole from me. I just didn't get to
just
say
went
it first
first.
because you always go and you just like to talk. You just talk.
All right, so let's make this, because this episode is going to be so negative about the show in general. Let's make it the Rosies and Rosies show. No Thornies this week.
But we already said our Thornies. Are we not going to say the Thornies of the show episode either?
Oh, no, we'll do that. That's what I mean. The show part is going to be all Thorny. Here, this part can be all Rosy.
Oh, okay.
So let's talk about our lives and what's going on in our lives. Elise, what is the best thing that has happened to you so far this week?
I had my birthday.
Aw, you're so old.
Yeah, I'm old now, but I was old before. I'm just old now with a kid.
Older.
So, But no, I had a wonderful weekend. I got to celebrate starting Friday. I celebrated Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and yesterday was great. Scott and our little guy spoiled me, so that was wonderful. I got
You don't
I
even
got a good
remember
massage.
what you got.
No, I wasn't gonna go and just make everyone feel all jealous about the gifts that I got. I was just gonna tell them about all the things that I did, make them feel jealous about that. So, got a massage, got to go to a little city close by to do a little wine tasting. My sister come in, had some family come over for dinner. Got to go to the mall, got to go to a new restaurant. I mean, it was great. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was a fun time.
You want to talk about that pasta real quick? You want to talk about how good that pasta was,
my God.
Scott?
If you
Tell them
live
about how good that pasta
in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, go to North Park Mall, and go to a place called Eat-ally. It's like Italy, but instead of an I, it says eat. Because that's what you do. It's like a big Italian market, but they also have like a homemade wood fire pizza place. And they also have like a pasta bar. Handmade pasta.
It's delicious.
Oh my God. We went there for lunch, which I wasn't expecting like a big fancy meal for lunch, but hey, I roll with it. And man, that was some good ass pizza. Pizza. That's how the Italians say it, babe. Pizza.
Is it?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Oh, so good. So good. We need to go back there and have more pasta, possibly some pizza, and also buy a whole bunch of things.
Yeah. We didn't even go look at the food, and we were going to.
Well, we have a baby, and he was getting a little restless, so we had to move. But great pasta. Eat-ally. So good. Still don't know how they fit that giant place in that store, in that mall. I don't know what it replaced, but...
I'm pretty sure it was a furniture store. But I'm not 100%, but I think that's what it was.
That's fine. You want to talk about my Rosie?
Yes, talk about your Rosie.
In the few weeks since we've done an episode of the show, our son has started daycare. Elise has gone back to work now as of today, full time. She's back at work. I am working full time as well, which means we have to take our son to daycare. And I don't know, it's been great. It's been really great.
Yeah.
He seems very happy. The daycare we went to uses this app. It's not their app, but it's like an app developed for daycare communication between parents and the daycare. They send us like 10 photos a day and video of him and what he's doing, and they tell us every time they change his diaper. They tell us every time they feed him. They tell us every time he goes to bed and wakes up from a nap. So it's like you really feel the constant communication. There's really never, even if you're not seeing your son, there's really never a time when you're not aware of what's going on with him and how he's doing and all this stuff. And they posted a picture today, baby, and there was some girl. Some little baby girl.
Better not be the same girl that he was sharing a stroller with last week.
Making moves on my boy. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna have to message the place and say, hey,
get that chick away from my son.
You keep that girl away from my son. He's not dating until he's 27.
What, 27?
I don't know. It's a good number.
Is it?
It's my birthday.
Yeah. 9.
I don't know. I've really been enjoying it. It was something obviously you and I were nervous about. It was a big change. We went from seeing him basically every minute of every day, constantly, to, from 7 till 5. He's at a different place, basically. It's 8 till 5. He's at a different place. And it's a little weird, but it's a really good daycare. We're really happy about it.
We are very happy.
And I don't know. It's going well. We have the perfect baby. He's so good. He just rolls with everything, and he's loving daycare. He's loving it.
It's because he's got those ladies he loves.
I know. He's surrounded by the ladies. Already better than me, my son is. How unsurprising.
Because he's got some of my blood in him.
There we go. So that's my Rose. I'm loving parenthood, babe. It's cool.
I'm good.
Our kid's almost
should we
4
go back
months old.
and rewatch the show Parenthood? Such
How-
a good show.
how was the final
I would
season?
probably cry.
How was the final season? Because
Oh, it was
From
good.
now on, any idea of doing a show, like a episode by episode coverage of the show, I need to make sure that I'm gonna still like the final season.
I liked the whole show. I cried so much in the end of it.
It's one of those shows
Because,
that,
it was the people that did This Is Us. It was the producers. So it was Parenthood was before This Is Us.
it's the Designed to Cry show. They
not
have a
until
new
the
one
end.
every so often. I wonder
Maybe
what
we
the
should
next
watch
Designed
the
to-
show Parenthood and do this with Parenthood. That would be a good idea.
How many episodes is Parenthood? Let me look
It's like
it up.
6 seasons, I think.
Parenthood episode count. 103 episodes, dear.
Yeah.
That's too many episodes.
Is it? Why?
That's a lot of episodes.
How many were in the OC?
Like
We didn't get to
60?
100 with the OC. Yeah.
Oh, you had 92 episodes? Huh. I thought it was less than that. I guess that's true. There was like
Because their seasons were 20 instead of. Yeah.
Huh. All right. Well,
It's not so insane now, huh?
look,
Is
I'm not ready to commit to your Parenthood project. Let's talk about Pixar movies first, and then we'll get there, okay?
Maybe.
Let's stop biting off more than we can chew here, babe.
I've got a pretty big mouth.
I know.
No, you don't.
Wait, where am I going with that? I don't know. There's a lot of places I could go with that.
There are, and they're all wrong.
I know.
Scott, let's just talk about this Chrismukk-huh because we're avoiding it because we don't want to talk about it.
I know.
So let's just get through it. And Scott, I'm going to have to ask you something.
Yes, ma'am.
We want to get through it. So we've done the best part of the show already about the things that people really are going to enjoy.
And it's only 15 minutes. This is going to be a short episode,
So we're going to have to like really get through this, and then we'll just kind of finish and talk about some other stuff at the end.
What are we going to talk about?
Just talk about us again. We'll sandwich the show with some Rosies, and that's just us talking.
Okay.
And then we're going to get through this part quickly.
All right. So everyone take a deep breath and just grin. Grin and bear it.
So The Chrismukk-huh is the 7th episode in the season 4 of the OC. It was written by Josh Schwartz and directed by Ian Toynton. Original air date was December 14th, 2006. Go ahead and read the quick episode review, even though it's not quick because
so
they wrote the entire plot points in this episode.
So here's the Chrismukk-huh. When Ryan and Taylor have an argument over where they stand on their whatever relationship they have, they both fall off a ladder, the same ladder, somehow, while Ryan is putting up Christmas lights, and both wake up in an alternate reality of what life is like had Ryan never came to Newport. Sandy is the uptight mayor of Newport Beach and married to Julie Cooper. Kirsten is married to Jimmy Cooper. Johnny Harper is alive and what? Is that true?
I missed it. It's fine.
Johnny Harper is alive and a star on the PacWest Surf Tour?
Yeah, whatever. Good job, Johnny.
I don't remember ever hearing that.
We don't really care about Johnny.
Seth is still a socially awkward geek. Summer is a mindless, narcissistic party animal engaged to Chester Che Winchester, who is having a fling with the sex addict Julie. Summer is also best friends with Holly Fisher. Ryan learns from Caitlin that Marissa in fact died from a drug overdose 3 years ago during their road trip to Tijuana, and Ryan was not there to save her. Back in the real world, Seth tries to arrange his annual Chrismukk-huh party and then tries to move it over to the hospital where the comatose Ryan and Taylor are. Also, Julie and Caitlin are planning to go to Riverside to visit Julie's parents, but get detoured when they have to try to stop the callous Veronica Townsend from leaving town for the holidays. Oh boy, that was a mouthful. Basically, this is an episode of It's a Wonderful Life smashed together with an episode of The Wizard of Oz, and it's ridiculous. Look.
So all of these points about the things that happen in the Chrismukk-huh, yes. Does it really have anything to tie into anything else that is happening in this entire show? No. Therefore, could we remove the Chrismukk-huh from the entire season 4, really the entire series, and everything still work as normal? Yes. We don't care.
So, I mean, it's interesting because first of all, this is a high concept episode in a show that is not a high concept show, right? You can't get away with introducing silly fantasy elements like this on season 4 of a show that has never had silly fantasy elements in it. Like on a supernatural show, you can get away with it. A show like Lost, or like Buffy, you can do shit like this, and it's fine because this is what the show is about. This has never been what the show is about. And it'd be one thing if this was all Ryan's dream, right? And they just did a funny, haha, this is Ryan's dream.
No.
But textually in the show, this actually did happen because Taylor and Ryan share the experience together, and they just wake up not remembering it. But it actually did happen, and it's just so fucking silly. And I there's part of me that is like, oh, that's a novel idea, but not for this show. Not for this show. This is not that show.
You'd put it on what show other than Buffy or Lost?
I would put it on.
What show are we currently watching that you would put it on? I know.
That we're currently watching.
What of those shows would you say?
I've
already picked mine in my head.
It's a Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist concept, 100%.
I was going to say Sunny.
It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Yeah, because that's an irreverent, bullshit, no one cares show. Yeah. That's the point of that show. That'd be fine. It's not, it doesn't work here.
Rest in peace, Zoe's Playlist.
Oh yeah, they canceled that show and I'm really sad about it. But the thing is, okay. And we can break this down however we want. We can do Roses and Thorns. I don't care. The concept of the thing is that both Taylor and Ryan have shit they need to deal with that they're not quite dealt with yet. Ryan needs to learn that everyone in Newport would have not been better off had he never been around. A lesson that he already learned earlier in the season when they showed him a comic book that talked about all the ways in which they would have been worse off if he never showed up. They already did that plot line. I don't know why they're doing it here. And they have to beat the dead horse. They introduce a letter Elise. A letter.
And let me just start off with my thorn for this episode was the entire episode structure. So Scott has just basically told you about the entire thorn. So I'm not even going to be that horse.
You know what?
Because that's what,
if this show doesn't have to follow any kind of sensical episode structure, then neither does our show. So we're just throwing it up in the air and we're just going to rant, baby.
Oh, man. You're better at ranting than I am, though. So
no, just join me. Join me on the rant. Talk to me.
On the rant?
My thorn is a letter. Since I stepped on your thorn, step all over my thorn. Tell me about the letter. What is?
I don't want to step on a thorn. It hurt my foot.
What is the letter, Elise?
The letter is something that Marissa Cooper evidently sent to Ryan before she was going to go and work on her dad's boat for forever. That evidently was lost in the mail long enough. I mean, how long has it been since
Months.
Marissa? Because
it's Christmas.
Okay,
she
so
died
graduation,
in May.
yeah, May, and it's Chrismukk-huh. So from May to December, this letter has been lost, and then just happens to come about around Christmas time because it's supposed to make for good TV, but it doesn't, and so really this letter is just like the letter that kills the OC. It's like a chain letter.
It is.
Oh my gosh, Scott, it's this chain letter that kills the show.
It's so weird because, so I guess basically what we're supposed to believe is Marissa, who already got to say goodbye to Ryan, they had a whole goodbye, had written him a letter to like say her final goodbyes and to explain to him why she was leaving and all this stuff. And she put it in the mailbox. She put a stamp on it,
even though
and mailed it
Scott,
to him.
Don't forget, Ryan was driving her to the airport. And so, like if I were Marissa, which thankfully I'm not, because who would want to be Marissa Cooper?
You'd be dead.
And I'd be dead. But anyways, if I were having someone drive me to the airport, that I had wrote a letter that I was too afraid to like give to them and have them read it in front of me, but was going to be the last person that I saw here, then like maybe I would just get out of the car and leave the letter on the seat.
Or put it in his bag. Like
hide it somewhere in the car because
for example, if you're a girl named Lauren and you really have some things you want to say to Corey Matthews, but you just can't feel like you say it in person, you just put it in his bag and then Topanga finds it and the whole big thing.
But here's the thing, Scott, is we know Marissa's dumb.
That's true.
And so it's really no surprise to us that Marissa would choose snail mail in order to mail a letter. And even, bigger, not a surprise, that she would choose the post office that is this bad.
This is the incredibly incompetent. Not a good look for the post office in this episode.
And that's why they had to kill Marissa Cooper.
I think, actually, it is now in my official headcanon that Marissa had Ryan swing by a mailbox on her way to the airport and said, hang on, I have to deliver this letter.
So Ryan actually
delivered his own letter.
Yeah. That's what I was getting.
She gave it to him and said, please put this in the mailbox for me.
And he saw the addressed envelope, that it was going to go to him, and still put it in the mailbox for it to go through circulation before it got to him.
The smartest people in the world.
And then he was wondering, where is this letter? Why? Oh, why? And then he finally got the letter.
So yeah, the thing that gets him out of his coma / It's a Wonderful Life dream is reading the letter from Marissa and getting to finally say goodbye to her. Because the problem is he hasn't been able to. He's over her.
I'm sorry, but I thought that he said goodbye to her.
He did this already. He did all these things already.
Maybe this episode is really so meta, Scott, that the episode is going back to the other time. And so it's like back to back. It's a whatchamacallit. I can't even, Inception. It's an Inception episode.
It's a whatchamacallit. Delicious candy bar.
It's these people are so much smarter than we are just for coming up with this idea. Anyways, Scott, I can't even talk about my rose because the thing that I wrote down, I don't even remember it happening, and I don't even remember what they said because that's not what stands out about this episode. What stands out is how awful it is. I had to dig in order to find a rose. And let me just say, those seeds had died.
Can I remember what this conversation was.
If you want to, you can. But I mean, he already had realized that he wasn't responsible for Marissa's death. This is just another thing.
Yeah, but they finally say it textually. The show finally says textually that, hey, remember when Marissa overdosed in Tijuana and almost died? If Ryan wasn't around, she would have just died then. The end. You know what? let's make our rose of this episode the people that actually were doing much better off in Alt World than the people that they are. Like, basically, every one of our main cast members in Alt World is doing worse. Sandy's mayor, and he's miserable. Kirsten's Ice Queen, and she's miserable, married to the shitty Jimmy Cooper.
Summer's wearing Juicy Couture sweatsuits,
Summer
which we'll
is
talk
like
about
the
in just
most shallow version of herself. There are two people that seem to be doing pretty good in Alt World, though. Caitlin Cooper, Marissa's younger sister, is suddenly a child prodigy who is graduated early and is now going to Berkeley as a 16-year-old. So she seems to be doing okay. And Jimmy Cooper is, I mean, he's married to a rich lady and still living in Newport.
You know what that means?
Huh.
Marissa ruined everybody's lives.
Nope. Marissa ruined two people's lives.
Like her family.
Marissa ruined her father's life and her sister's life.
And like people that should matter the most, she's ruined their lives.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's what I meant.
The other part of this episode,
and Penny
is so mad at this episode too. She's playing with toys. The other part of this episode that I think like the decision to include Taylor in the experience is such a weird one to me. I think they needed someone to explain the alt universe multiverse shit of this world that they've just introduced on our teen drama show. Not an episode of Loki we're talking about here. And so because Taylor's kind of the comic book nerd, she can kind of exposit.
Kind of the comic book nerd.
Since Taylor is a comic book nerd, she can exposit what's going on here and explain it to the audience and to Ryan. But then she also has her own arc through this episode, which is getting to call her mom names and telling her mom to fuck off because her mom's a terrible person. Which granted has been a backgrounded part of Taylor's arc throughout the show so far. But, like, they just kind of brought it back to the forefront here and just said, oh, yeah, this has been a thing.
And this is what will wake her up out of her coma. Because that's the thing. It's like, did you know, Scott, that when you're in a coma, you go to this alt place and there's, like, something that you're wanting to do. And once you've done that, you automatically come out of your coma.
Yeah, I love the doctors.
That's what it is.
The doctors are like, they're totally fine. They fell off a ladder of a second-story house. They're totally fine. No broken injuries, no bruises whatsoever. They're just in a coma. We can't figure out why that is.
And it's not that they're in a... It's just that...
No, it's not a coma. They're going through a dream journey.
Yeah.
They need to figure out their stuff. Ryan needs
crazy.
to go sit where Marissa always sat by the beach and read her letter in the... Okay, so this is the part of the... This is the part of the show that
How did the letter get there? That he'd never read before.
Yep. So Ryan gets the letter from Marissa. He doesn't read it. Then he falls off the ladder, goes into the coma. In the coma, he opens and reads the letter, and his reading of the letter and processing and getting to say goodbye to her is part of what wakes him out of the coma.
So really, he didn't actually read the letter. This is just what he wanted the letter to say.
The letter in his head is the letter he wrote. Is he ever going to read the actual
He's
letter?
never going to read it. He's just going to think that it said whatever he wanted it to say the whole time. And that's really just what should have happened.
Remember when this was like a cool teen drama show about like teen drama and like, and the silliest they got was when like Seth met George Lucas for his comic.
No more.
Now it's this.
Yeah.
Now it's this.
Yeah.
And I think an interesting thing is, I actually think if this show came out in 2021, this episode would play better because viewers are more used to this kind of thing happening in television. I just like it's just not. It was wrong for the show. They couldn't come up with a better idea. It also has nothing to do with Chrismukk-huh except for the "It's a Wonderful Life" connection, I guess. There's no actual Chrismukk-huh in this episode.
Let's continue, Scott. Mm-hmm. We're done with this.
All right, let's talk about
style. Like I already kind of talked about Summer wearing her Juicy Couture.
Summer's wearing Juicy Couture.
It's that velvet velour that I'm sorry, Scott. It's kind of coming back.
No, I hate it so much.
Juicy Couture, and then I saw someone who's supposed to be like a big influencer on Instagram is wearing Ed Hardy again. So like I don't know what's happening with this world, but people, we've lived through this and we knew that the style was bad. Scott and I, we lived it.
Yeah, we knew.
And
you should have asked us.
And we have the pictures of us being little when we were wearing these clothes and people around us. And they don't look good, guys. They don't look good.
None of it looks
so
good. It's awful.
Yeah, let's just no.
Let's just not do
this. Even the OC.
this.
I mean, we're talking about this stuff in the OC, and even this, which is supposed to be like a very stylish show, they have their moments that are more bad than good about this style, and it's just no.
Che was I didn't take a picture of Che, but
you couldn't take a picture of Che and everything because it's just Che.
Yeah.
It's just bad, and then it's just the layers. It's
so,
the baggy clothes.
It's so funny to me that they do this alt universe thing, but like you can tell that they had very little ability to get any of the old characters back on the show except for Tate Donovan. Like Tate Donovan is the only one they could like. She should be dating Luke. Like in any other reality, Summer is engaged to Luke here, not Che. The only reason Che is because Chris Pratt was around, and they're like, "Hey, Chris Pratt, you want to do this?" Like, actually, in a better version of this thing, they actually get Marissa Cooper to be back on the show.
Yeah,
but
none of
they
that's
couldn't
gonna
do
happen.
that. Gosh, it's bad. Yeah. Gosh, it's like not even Taylor's good in this episode.
No.
When it's a bad Taylor episode and she's the only thing holding up your show. My God.
What are you talking about with Seth? Is this a layer of the t-shirt on the long sleeve?
So Seth, the whole thing in Altverse is that Seth is, without Ryan there, he never stopped being a nerd. So he's just still a giant nerd that's creepily obsessed with Summer. He still works at the comic book store because, again, they have 6 sets and they're not going to build a new set. Get out of here. But the way they dressed him, they tried to dress him as... Like, Seth his wardrobe had been changing over the course of the show, and he's dressing cooler. But in this episode, he's just got a striped t-shirt with long sleeves underneath it. It's like
both wrinkled,
very nerd chic.
Yeah. And we were going to talk about relationship status, but really in this episode, it's like you can't really talk about relationship status because the relationships weren't really happening. It was all alternate.
The only relationship we can talk about is Ryan and Taylor, and I guess they got closer by sharing a alt world experience. They journeyed the multiverse together.
Yeah.
And got closer because of it. So are they officially dating? I can't even tell anymore. Are they together?
Well, not in this episode because, that's the whole reason that she came over and got frustrated.
Yeah, but by the end of it. By the end of the episode, they're together?
Something. They're a thing.
Okay.
They're a thing. We're going to make them a thing.
So that's the Chrismukk-huh. None of us are happy about this, folks. I'm not happy about it. You're not happy. But you're listening to this and you're like, what the fuck is going on this show? And I don't know. I don't know. But that is it.
And we're going to outer space in the next one. There's some weird stuff with the Earth girls that are easy. We know what's happening though, so I can't really have Scott make predictions.
We have 9 more episodes of the show to talk about, and we're going to do it all at once. It may be a bit longer than 30 minutes. It might be like an hour-long episode to wrap up this show.
Or maybe not, because it's so bad.
We'll see. Here's a little sneak preview for you. Next week, Summer gets pregnant, but then she's not pregnant. But then her and Seth get engaged. And then Ryan's dad, who is Hercules, shows up into the OC to do something. Frank. That's what's coming up. That's where the show is going now. So
it's going back to that soap drama.
Yippee
Skippy.
You
know what, Scott?
What?
I'm going to say that's all we have time for with this show.
You don't want to go back and talk about me again? Let's talk about me.
Let's talk about you. What do you want to talk about with you?
I'm just really cool.
You had a really good routine this morning. Were you proud of yourself?
I was so proud of myself.
I'm so proud of you.
Here's, folks, morning routines, important. Thing is, when you work from home, it's really difficult to establish one because your bed and your office are sometimes the exact same thing. I mean, sometimes they're so close together that they're just the same thing. But because I have to drive my son to daycare in the mornings, because Elise has to get to work so early that she has to get there before the daycare even opens. So that leaves me in charge of it. I have to have a morning routine. And so I had my morning routine this morning, which was get up, feed the boy, get him ready, dress him. I have to pick his outfit. Scott's style section coming in big.
It's a good thing we really paid attention to style. You did good on this morning's outfit too. I thought he looked nice.
Until he spit up milk all over it.
But that's not your fault.
I mean, isn't it though? Isn't everything he does kind of, sort of, at least a little bit my fault?
It's all 50% your fault.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Half your DNA, yeah.
Took him to daycare, came home, hopped on the Peloton, rode for 30 minutes, hopped in the shower, picked up around the house.
I know.
And then 9 o'clock, open up the work laptop and immediately go to YouTube. But I also still opened my email to make sure I hadn't gotten any emails yet. And that, folks, is what matters. I don't have anything else to say. This is going to be the shortest episode we've ever had. But this is, I mean, I think we played it up a little bit, but I think this gives you an understanding for why we feel like doing another 9 episodes of the show that are this.
Yeah. It just doesn't be fun.
It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And we love talking to y'all. We love talking to each other, and we love watching things we love. And this show has not become it. So
I'm going to be happy to like watch the rest of it and just not have to wait, because that's what's good. That's the part that's going to be better, is that now we don't have to like stop after each one, just be like, ugh. Well, I mean, we have to stop and record and then watch another one. We have to wait a week before we can just get through this.
And the cool thing is, like, statistically, there's a pretty good chance that in 9 hours of television that we have to watch, there's going to be like one thing that I like. Like, I mean, probably.
Maybe it's over. So nothing else. There's that.
So yeah, that's going to do it for us this week. If you like this podcast, maybe don't use this episode as an example of it, but you can check.
If you just like banter and you like dissecting things and you like Scott.
You know what I like?
What?
I like love.
I do too.
I love you.
I love you too.
You can check out our Vow to View episodes on this feed.
Oh yeah. Do you have any other shows about love?
No, none of them are about love.
Well, what's the matter with that?
You know, sometimes you just got to say, what's love got to do?
You've been singing a lot.
Got to do with it. I'm trying to pick up your slack because you're not singing anymore.
Also, you know what? If you like Scott and you just like us, you can consider donating to our Patreon over at patreon.com/juvemedia.
But again, maybe don't use this episode as an example of whether or not you want to donate. Maybe go listen
to some other episodes.
And normally we say rate us on iTunes. Don't do that this week. Maybe wait till 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
Or go listen to the very first episode of the show.
Yeah, how about that?
When we still really liked the OC.
That'd be good.
Oh my gosh. I'm not even going to pull audio clips from this episode because I hate this episode so much.
And you just want this whole episode to be over for people. But you know, if you guys made it this far, like, congratulations.
Hey, yeah. Pat yourself on the back.
Go get you a cookie.
Get you a cookie. Not the cookie that I got this weekend, because that was not a good cookie.
It was okay.
I was the most disappointing cookie I've ever had in my life. Because you didn't
put it in the fridge. It's better cookie when it's cold.
Yeah, let's poll the audience. Do y'all store your baked cookies in the refrigerator?
If they're not freshly baked, like right out of the oven, I like to put them in the fridge. I don't
like a cold cookie. I don't want a cold cookie. I want a warm or a room temp cookie. And you know what this episode of the OC was? It was a cold cookie.
But I like cold cookies, and I didn't like this episode.
It was a cold cookie.
For Scott.
All right, folks, we'll see you next week when we wrap up Whatcha Say.
Woohoo!
Surprise.
Whatcha Say.
Are we going to have like a postmortem episode after next week? Let's do that too. We'll have like a...
Okay. And then a series.
Yeah, like a series wrap up.
Yeah. So we got 2 more weeks of this gig.
Woo woo!
Okay.
All right.
Peace out.
Later, folks.